The NFL schedule is set to drop tomorrow, Thursday, May 11th. 2023, and on today's show, I'm going to predict the entire Bears 2023 schedule in terms of who they'll play week to week. I've never done this exercise. I'm completely guessing who their week 1, 2, 3 opponents are going to be. I'm not going to predict wins and losses. We'll do that on a later video, but I want to see how close I can get at predicting the actual schedule. Let's first break down who the Bears' opponents are this year. Obviously, divisional opponents, one home, one away game for all three of these teams. Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota. They'll play each of them at home and on the road. So that knocks out 6 of your games, including 3 home games, 8 home games, 9 road games this year. So here are the other 5 home games that add up to 8. Arizona Cardinals come to town, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers. I will say this. You look at those top 3, like if you're a team in the Bears trying to make a playoff push this year, you probably got to sweep those 3. Denver Broncos come to town, that's winnable. Raiders at home, that's winnable. The home slate is pretty favorable, if we're being completely honest. And then 6 road games on top of the 3 divisional road games. Cleveland Browns, Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of rumors about that game we'll discuss in a bit. Los Angeles Chargers, New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Washington Commanders. Road slate definitely a little bit tougher, but with Tom Brady retiring, Tampa becomes more manageable in terms of how difficult that game should be this season. All right, before we get to my predictions of what the week-by-week schedule will look like, don't miss it. As soon as the Bears schedule drops, we'll release it. Subscribe and turn on notifications. I think we're going to go live, so have those noties turned on. That way you know exactly when we go live to release the schedule to all of you. So go ahead and join the movement here on Chicago Bears Now. Subscribe, turn on your notifications. All right, here's my schedule prediction. Week 1 against the Detroit Lions at home. Just a gut feeling, divisional game to start the year. A lot of hype around the Lions. I think the Bears will be a team that the schedule makers are buzzing about. This is kind of a juicy divisional game this year in the NFC North, so I'm going to have it kick things off in the 2023 season. Predict it for me. Who will the Bears play in Week 1? Who's the Week 1 opponent going to be? And is it going to be at home or on the road? I got the Lions coming to town in Week 1. Take a guess for me down in the comment section. Week 2, a little inter-conference game here at the Los Angeles Chargers, heading out west to L.A. to face Justin Herbert and the boys. I would say one of the tougher games on the schedule this year. So you go out west in Week 2. Week 3, you've got the number 1 pick trade game and draft alert for next year as well. Carolina Panthers come to town. This is a huge game for the Bears. You want to win it if you're trying to contend at least a little bit this year to help you out this year. You also want the Panthers to lose as many games as possible to keep that draft pick as high as possible. You could argue, outside of the divisional games, this is the biggest game on your schedule. You need to beat Carolina. Week 4 at the Cleveland Browns, and I'm going to go Thursday Night Football here. First primetime game for Chicago this season. This just smells like a Thursday night game. Both teams have some intrigue, but not too much. Thursday night doesn't get usually the juiciest matchups, but I think Bears-Browns is just juicy enough. Feels like a Thursday night game to me. Week 5, the Atlanta Falcons come to town. I would say one of the more winnable games on the schedule. Young team like the Bears, but way more question marks at quarterback with Desmond Ridder. Obviously, Justin Fields isn't a for sure solution long term, although I think we think he can be that. Ridder's got way more questions around him, so that is certainly a very, very winnable game and a must-win if you're going to be a playoff team. Week 6 against the Green Bay Packers at home, another prime time matchup, Sunday Night Football. Justin Fields, Jordan Love, the first time these two will square off as Aaron Rodgers has moved on to the New York Jets, going with the divisional game on Sunday Night Football. You guys know the drill. FGB, FGB, FGB. Type FGB in the chat. F Green Bay, biggest rival, those frauds. It's time for them to fall to the gutter of this division. And if you want to pick up an FGB t-shirt, this is the place to do it. Chatsports.com/FGB. T-shirts for just $27.99. You can rock this all season long. I'll be rocking it more and more once we get into football season, especially when it's Packers week. Chatsports.com/FGB. Check the comments, check the description for this t-shirt link. Week 7 at the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's at least loosely confirmed that the Chiefs are going to play their Germany game in Week 11, and while the reports for months were that would be the Bears, the Chiefs reportedly requested to the NFL that they do not play the Bears in Germany. They're allowed to make one request. Now, I'm not 100% sure if the NFL has to honor that request, but I'm guessing they're going to. I think they'll give the Chiefs another opponent in Germany, which means the Bears will play Kansas City at Arrowhead, and I've got that matchup taking place in Week 7. Week 8 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as Chicago travels to Tampa. No Tom Brady. This is a much more winnable game than it would have been otherwise. Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask expected to be the starter there. So for a road game, this is a very gettable one. Week 9 against the Minnesota Vikings at home. You know, the way I see this division this year, take care of business at home and maybe steal a road game. If you could somehow go 4-2, that'd be huge. Even 3-3 wouldn't be bad. And then you get a Week 10 bye week. I like having a bye in Week 9, Week 10, somewhere right in the middle of things. So this year I'm guessing a Week 10 bye. I think last year it was all the way in Week 13, the last possible week. So hopefully the Bears get a little bit earlier this season. Week 11 at the New Orleans Saints as the Bears hit the road once again as we predict the schedule. They've got Derek Carr now, but I still view this game as winnable. The NFC South games are games that you really need to monitor as a chance to win a game. Week 12 against the Denver Broncos. Monday Night Football, another primetime game. Monday night's kind of like Thursday night, where they don't always get the juiciest games, but decent enough matchup here. Denver was a popular primetime team last year. I think they'll get some games this year with Sean Payton as their coach. I think the Bears will get a few games in primetime. They always do, regardless of how good or bad they are. Bears, Broncos, Monday Night Football in Week 12. Predict it for us. How many primetime games will the Bears have? I've got the Bears getting 4, which means one more is coming as we predict it here. So how many primetime games do you think Chicago gets this year? I'm going with 4. Let me know what you guys think. Week 13 at the Green Bay Packers, hitting the road for this one, potentially a pivotal game in the NFC North. Week 14, Arizona Cardinals come to town. Perhaps the easiest game on the schedule. Now, if it's this late in the season, Kyler Murray would likely be back, so that makes it a little bit more tough, but maybe they shut him down if they're having a really bad season. We'll have to wait and see, but keep an eye on Arizona. You'd much rather catch them early than late on the schedule because the later it is, the more likely it is you'd have to deal with Kyler Murray compared to Colt McCoy or Clayton Tune. Week 15, final primetime game at Minnesota. That's kind of been a trend in recent years. Now, it didn't happen this year, but Bears-Vikings later in the season has been a Sunday Night Football game more often than not. Minnesota will probably be at least a decent team again this year, although I do think they will regress. That could be a primetime matchup in the month of December. Week 16 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Vegas coming to town here in 2023. Another winnable home game here. Week 17, one of your more winnable road games at Washington. Producer Rolly's boy, Sam Howell, probably going to be slinging it for them this year, so we'll see how that goes. And then start of the season at home against Detroit, ending it at Detroit. How fun would it be if Bears-Lions determined the division in Week 18? I'm not saying the Bears are going to be in position to win the North. Need to see the schedule, need to see how this team's going to play early in the year. But start the year against Detroit, end it against Detroit. We know Week 18 is always a divisional opponent, so I've got it being Detroit this year. All right, there you go. My Bears schedule prediction here. Official schedule drops on Thursday. Will the Bears make the playoffs? Simple yes or no question. Type Y for yes or type in for no. Curious to see what you guys think. All right, guys, appreciate you indulging my prediction. Like I said, we will bring you the schedule live here on Bears Now by Chat Sports. At least that's the plan. At worst, we'll drop a video breaking down the schedule, but I would like to go live. I think we will. So subscribe and join us this Thursday for the release of the schedule.